my name is Jeremy Fox. This is my week 1 immersive application development video review. This will be talking about implementing your immersive element. First of all, the estimated level of difficulty in implementing your feature. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, probably like a 7 or an 8. It's going to be a little difficult because there's 3 different types of elements that I'm going to add. Additional life, temporary slow motion, and temporary invincibility. And the way that it will work is, as you can see in the screenshot here, I'm moving around. Frank will be falling through the sky, dodging the birds, all of that, and then quickly you'll see these blocks that will come by. So like this +1, for example, would mean an additional life. So this thing will come flying up the screen from the bottom to the top, and you'll need to position Frank above it as it's coming up. So say here's Frank, thing's coming up, you need to position him above it so that he can catch it, and then if he catches it, that'll instantly be applied. So he'll get an additional life towards this gameplay, which means currently there is no number of lives or anything. So if you lose, you lose. If you win, you win. So that's the first thing. I'm going to have to implement lives over gameplay. So I'll probably start the user with 2 lives towards the gameplay, and every time they catch one, they can restart or they can use a life or whatever. And then when they run out of lives, obviously the game's over. So that's the first part. I'm going to have to implement that. And then the second item is the slow motion. So when the slow motion box comes flying up, he'll have to position him. The user will have to position Frank above it to catch it. If they do so, then instantly everything for 10 seconds will go into slow motion. So then I'm going to have to recalculate all my animations to go to half of the speed of what they are, without affecting Frank's movement. So when the user tries to, when they touch on the blue sky somewhere and they want to move Frank to that position, I want him to still be able to move at the same speed, but have the birds and the clouds and kind of seem like everything else is going in slow motion but him. So that's probably going to get a little tricky. And then the last thing is the temporary invincibility. That one I think is going to be super simple, which is why I didn't say like a 9 or a 10 on difficulty on this, is because this one kind of brings it down a little ways. All I have to do for this one is obviously animate the box up. If the player positions Frank above this temporary invincibility box and they catch it, he will be temporarily invincible for 10 seconds. So the user can just let him sit there, and if birds fly into him, whatever, it won't go against their hit count or his life or anything like that. So it won't affect him for 10 seconds. So those are the 3 elements of my overall immersive element that I'm adding. So that's why I'm saying it's probably like a 7 or an 8 on difficulty. The order in which each part of your immersive element will be implemented. I have this all detailed out in the original immersive element pitch activity, but the way I'm thinking of it is, first I need to obviously implement all of them. So I have the life, slow motion, and temporary invincibility. And so once I have all of the little images like you see on the screen here, the +1 and then the other 2 I'm going to have to come up with. Once I have all the assets created, include them in the project, add them as a sprite, and then just figure out the speed of which they animate up. So not even concerned about the X origin of which they show, because that will be random. I'm just going to put it right in the middle to begin with, and then just start figuring out the speed at which they will animate from the bottom to the top. And I'm thinking it's going to be about 1.5 times the speed of the clouds. So if the clouds are going like this, then they're going to probably go like, something like that, just to give you an example. So they're going to be pretty quick, and I want them to be quick so that there's a little bit of a difficulty catching them, so that it's not super, super easy every time they come flying by to catch them. And then after that, I will have to handle the collision with Frank and the item, and then at that point, if I detect the collision, actually implementing the feature to either add to the game life, slow everything down, or give him temporary invincibility. see what an ideal implementation would look like. For example, how the user would ideally engage with your immersive element. I think I just explained all of that, but just to kind of reiterate just real quick, the items will come up from the bottom to the top fairly quickly to kind of simulate the effect of Frank falling. Obviously, he's falling, so he's falling past those, each one of these items, and meanwhile, he's dodging the birds. So he's trying to maneuver around the birds. These items will come up at random X origins from left to right. So one will come up here, one will come up over here, one will come up in the middle. And you'll only get one additional game life that will come up during gameplay. And then you twice during gameplay. I'm thinking either we'll say 1 to 2 times. You know, I'll say they'll probably come up twice during gameplay, but they might only come up once, just so that it's kind of random. The slow motion and temporary invincibility, and the player would just simply need to tap on the space. So like say like right here, if the user tapped here to move Frank over while this is coming up, then they would be in position to catch that plus additional life. And that's pretty much it. Hope that explains it well enough, and we'll see if I can get this thing done. I'm hoping so. That's it, so thank you for watching.